talk about casting, did you have anyone in mind for the characters before casting?
Well, the first time I read the screenplay, I instantly knew that Columbus Short would be the guy for Pooch. I mean, I had just worked with him on Stomp the Yard, and he came through for me in such a huge way on that film, and he has this natural ease and likability about himself that just made him perfect, I felt, for the role of Pooch, who's really sort of the emotional glue of this crew. We really only care about them getting back, ultimately, because we want him also to get back to his family. And so I felt like he had this sort of likable sensibility. Zoe Saldana, I had seen her in a few movies, mostly independent films, that she had done. This was before Star Trek and Avatar. I mean, she was in the process of finishing some of those movies, but I certainly wasn't really aware of the importance of her role or how much of an impact it would have for her career. She had done a movie called Haven a few years ago that a friend of mine, Frankie Flowers, directed, and I really liked her in that film as well, and I'd just been waiting for an opportunity and a role for her, in one of my movies, and so I jumped on that. Chris Evans was, again, my attempt to cast against type. The studio was very supportive of my casting choices early on. I didn't want to cast this movie in a sort of cliche commercial way, because I felt the movie was already very commercial in itself, and it had the sort of the Joel Silver envelope on it and stuff, and so I thought, well, the way to help push this in a different direction is to go kind of fresh and new and with up-and-comers and against type, and casting Chris Evans as the sort of geeky nerd with a gun who cracks the jokes and is the comic relief. I thought was cool because we'd never seen him do that, and I'd seen him in a movie called London, which is kind of a weird movie with Jessica Biel, and I saw really that he had these really strong chops in that film, and after I met him, I saw he had really good comedic timing. So that's was the deal for him. And Idris Elba had done quite a few films for the company that produced Stomp the Yard, Rainforest Films for me, so I was really familiar with his work, and I'd met him a few times, and I was very eager again to work with him. So the interesting thing is that I basically got all my first choices. First, because the studio was supportive of those choices, and secondly, is that once I was able to meet with all these people, they were very interested in making the movie off the bat, from the script and people involved, and the fact that we were shooting in Puerto Rico probably helped. But yeah, even Jason Patrick, I think, same thing. We really wanted to cast against type. There's so many, there's like the usual, you get always the same list from the agents with the guys you've seen play the villains over and over again, and some of them are great, and they're like classic actors that play those roles a lot. But I really wanted, again, to go fresh, go with a character actor who had done really amazing independent work. And the meeting with him, he had this sort of innate sarcastic quality and cynical nature that I felt could really come out in this character, and make it fun and make it a little bit more than just the bad villain in the movie. He's very self-referential and postmodern as a villain, and I like that.